The Grand Bookstore Adventure. In the heart of the town Khotan, there stood the Grand Bookstore, a marvel known to all. With its towering shelves and endless corridors of books, it promised tales of yonder worlds and ancient wisdom. As you step inside, you're overwhelmed by the vastness. Each aisle beckons with tales waiting to be discovered. You see signboards indicating the genre: science fiction, mystery, biography, and more. Now let's weave magic into our tale, draw parallels with Jetpack Compose. Navigating through this grand bookstore is akin to journeying through screens in a Jetpack Compose app. Each bookshelf or genre selection can be thought of as a unique screen or destination in the app. Just as you would choose an aisle to explore in the bookstore, in the app you decide which screen to navigate to next. Now let's go ahead and implement that into our Jetpack Compose applications. Therefore, I'm going to go ahead and create a new project with an empty activity, and I'm going to call this one a navigation sample and create the project. All right, so let's start with the first composable and the first screen. Therefore, I'm gonna get rid of greeting as well as our greeting preview, and here again greeting. While that is all good and well, what we need is a first screen, and this one will be a composable. Our first screen, not the first screen, first screen will contain a few information. Okay, so basically what I want to have is I want to have a screen where there is a field where the user can enter his name, and then we click on the button. There's a button, and once we click on that button, we go over to a different screen. So why do we want to enter the name? Well, we want to also see how we can send information from one screen to another, or from one composable to another. And therefore, I'm really going to keep it simple by sometimes importing or copy pasting code in here. Okay, so don't worry about it. If you also want to enter it manually yourself, you can do so, but I would just go ahead and copy paste it in. So here, this is just a different way of writing by mutable state of. Either way is fine. Then I want to have a column in which I want to have all the details. So here, this will be the column. I need to import column for this to work. So let's do that. Then padding needs to be imported. DP needs to be imported, and the same goes for arrangement. And here, let me see, doesn't like it. Let's see if I enter arrangement. There we are. So sometimes it just doesn't like it if you paste it in, but it still saves me some time in the recording process and also you some time in watching it, because basically we have gone over these things multiple times, like 10 times already. You know what a modifier is, you know what vertical arrangement is, what padding is, and so forth. So I decided from now on, every now and then I will paste in some code that we prepared, and this will make the entire process easier for you, because it's really not about showing you the 100th time what a column is or what remember by mutable state is. It's really about the new concept that we're looking at. So as I said, I want to have a entry field where the user can enter his name and a button. And what I'm going to put above it is going to be another field or another composable, which will just be a text. So I want to know which screen I'm on. So I am going to import the text or use a text here, then a little spacer with enough space in between the text and the outlined field. Okay, so the next one will be the outlined text field, which is actually the text field where the user can then enter a name. Doesn't have to be his name or her name, but a name. And what we're going to say is the value of the outlined text will be the name that we set up here, this remember variable, its value. And whenever we change the value in the outlined text field, we are going to assign the value to our name property. Basically, it's something that we have done multiple times already. And then finally, we have a button. And this button will just say, go to next screen. And I'm going to import this composable button. It will just say go to next screen, and then the on-click event, that's where the interesting part comes in. So that's where the actual transition from one screen to the other is going to go. Now let's also set up a preview so that we can see how the screen is going to look like. So I'm just going to use the add preview keyword here in order to then display the composable in the split screen. So it will initialize for a second. And in my case, I need to build and refresh at least once, and then I should see my first screen. And there we are, we have our screen. Let me actually add to the preview background, show background to true. And then we have this white background, which is a little more visible for us. So I'd say that's it for this video. We've set up the first screen. We're going to set up the second screen in the next video, and then we're going to go into the actual navigation from one screen to another. So I'd say see you there.